Love is in the air. Or maybe it's just skunk mating season. Either way, we've got a Valentine special for you in this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast, the movie Valentine from 2001. It's everything you would expect from a teen slasher with a Valentine flair. Now I get it, some of you think Valentine's Day is a made-up holiday, but I think any time you can show someone you love and care about them, it works for me. Or is it that I just like to get cards and gifts? Is it bad that I was impressed with the morbid cards in this one? Hey, they were homemade. Cheers!
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, boys and girls. I'm Greg.
Hey everyone, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different yet highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
I'm fantastic.
Not sure I like your tone, but I'm just going to believe that you're fantastic. Is there anything you'd like to share with the class?
No, Karen, there is not. Was this film your choice? Was it? Was it not?
It was.
What film have you chosen for us this week? I hope it's something festive.
Well, it's all about love.
Yes, Karen, love is in the air this time of year, apparently. Do you know this is the skunk mating season? Do you know that?
I did not, but it makes
is,
perfect
but, yeah,
sense.
there you go.
Have you seen shows in your backyard, or is that just a factoid that you know?
No, but you'll notice driving around, you'll smell skunks more now than you will any other time of year because it's their mating season.
Little baby skunks are
Hence,
adorable.
hence Pepe Le Pew.
Yes. I chose the film Valentine from 2001.
Any reason you chose that film, Karen? Do you have a special connection with it in any way?
No, you just love is in the air. You just said it was skunk mating season. Do you need more than that?
I did. No.
Because if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, 2 days from now, is Valentine's Day.
Oh, shit. Is it?
I think a lot of people just said that.
No, of course I know that.
I do have a drink to go with it. You want to
Do
hear
you?
what it is? Yeah.
I would love to know what drink you chose to go with this
So
film.
it doesn't really apply too well. I thought it would, considering that this movie is a slasher film, a teen slasher film at that.
There
It's
is
called
lots of blood.
Is there? Well, I guess in some ways there is. So it does apply. It's called the Bloody Martini.
And how would one make such a concoction?
You're going to put 7 to 8 ice cubes in a cocktail shaker, add 15 mils of extra dry vermouth, which, if you'd like to know, 30 mils is about an ounce. So it's about half an ounce of dry vermouth. Stir about 20 times. Then add 75 mil London dry gin, or any gin that you have, and 60 mils of pomegranate juice. Stir gently and strain into our martini glass. For garnish, which I forgot this part, put 4 blackberries in a sieve, and you're going to muddle, but what you want is the juice, which you mix with 1 teaspoon of sugar until dissolved. It says icing sugar, which is powdered sugar. Drizzle around the rim of the glass, and then slice into 3 blackberries and place on the side of the glass. And finish with a mint sprig. This is very fancy.
That's a lot of work, Karen.
I
I'm just
know,
saying. It's
very fancy.
A lot of work.
Those kind of drinks with those rims can be messy. They look kind of cool, but they're sticky and messy. I did not do that. Did you?
No, I did not care.
But it's nice and red. And if you did have the rim, I think it would look more bloody. it's a martini.
It is. Should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own, Karen?
Their own bloody martini. Yes, we should.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, I'm going to deviate from our usual thing, and I'm going to say right now, those of you listening in Pennsylvania, thank you. We appreciate you.
Ooh, are you showing the love?
Yeah, I'm showing the
You're
love early
feeling the love
this
on
week.
this
I
season
am.
of
I'm feeling
love.
feeling the love for our listeners in Pennsylvania.
Wow. Okay. You want to say why, or are you just picking them
No,
randomly?
just because
They download the shit out of the
they
podcast?
download the shit out of the podcast. So I
All
don't
right.
know. Oh, whatever.
Thank you.
You do you, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Glad someone does. You guys do you in Pennsylvania. That's awesome. Thank you.
Might you have a brief synopsis for us, Karen?
I
Might
do.
you? Go on. Tell us all the story from 2001. You remember 2001? Seems like yesterday.
In some ways, yes, it does. Well, as you said, Greg, love is in the air. On the most romantic day of the year, would-be lovers woo hearts with flowers, candy, cards, and gifts. Best friends Kate, Paige, Dorothy, Lily, and Shelley are young women looking for a relationship, a Valentine to die for. And this year, they might just get their wish.
Thank you, Karen. We are a match. All right, Karen, tell us every little thing you really enjoyed about this film celebrating the season of love from 2001.
Little is the operative word there. The acting's good. There are quite a few recognizable faces in it, and the acting is good. There's sequel potential, which is a favorite. There's a couple cool shots in it, I think, where there's someone in the background and lights flicker and stuff like that. The Valentine cards, the poems, I thought were really good, and the cards were homemade and very nice.
Would you like someone to give you one of those cards, Karen?
Not with those sayings on them.
Oh, okay.
No, no.
I like them. They're kind of catchy.
They got a beat. You can dance to it. No, they were good, I thought. I had something else, but I can't find where I wrote it down. Maybe you'll jar my memory. What do you got?
The first thing I wrote, probably because this is the first thing in the movie, that the young actors that play the cast as they're young, they're all really good. And they look good. They match up with their
Oh, that's right.
modern
Yes.
protege.
So they start off in a elementary school and
Middle
the
school, Karen, middle school. Come on, sixth
sorry,
grade.
middle school. Depends on where you went. Um, but yes, middle school. So yes, I did notice that. They do match up very well with the adult versions of them. Somebody did some great casting there, and they were fine too.
Yes, it was good casting. I agree. I wrote it was well shot, and I think it looked good overall. Just
It doesn't look low budget.
no, it doesn't. It looks good. I wrote this Marley Shelton, the lead. I never heard of her before, but I like her. The girl who plays Kate. Never seen her before, never heard of her before, but she was killing it in 2001, Karen. That's all I can say. It looks good. Yeah, I like this more than I thought I would, actually.
It's
I thought it was okay.
for a Valentine's Day for the genre it's in. I think it's okay.
I think it's okay too.
I mean, I think I liked Bloody Valentine better, but it's okay. If you're doing a Valentine Day horror marathon, I think it would fit right in.
Yeah, and I never heard of it before.
But I will say, compared to other horror films, I wouldn't say it was great. But for its genre,
No, it's
I
not
think it's
great, but
okay.
it's good.
You know,
It's fine.
especially when you put it in its niche. Like
Yeah.
if you compare it to the whole horror film, plethora of films, it's not as good. But if you put it in Valentine Day movies, horror movies, it's pretty good.
All right, was there anything you didn't particularly enjoy, Karen? Any words of criticism
They're not
during the
very
season of
likable.
love?
None of the characters are very likable, really. And the men come off horribly. There's not one guy in this film that's a good guy. They're all
Preaching to the
horrible.
choir, Karen.
They're
That's the
all
way it always
horrible.
is. Whatever.
No, I don't think that's true. But there's not, I mean, every single one is a horrible person, the males in the movie. And it's interesting because and I don't know, I noticed it a little, but every time a woman stands up for herself, she gets killed. So she gets to speak her mind, put the man in his place, and then she's murdered. But that's neither here nor there. The effects were pretty good. I guess I should say that. Maybe that's what I had written. I can't find the paper I wrote it on. And if you know me, that's not surprising. But the blood wasn't terrible. The effects were okay. The kills were okay.
Yeah, they were
You
fine.
know,
I expected worse, actually.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
But
The girls look all the same. I couldn't
they
tell
do.
who was who. And for a long time, it took me a very long time. And so in my notes, I'm like, the longer blonde one, the shorter blonde one, I couldn't, towards the end, I started to put their names with faces, but at first they were very difficult to tell apart. It was a little slow, I don't know. I mean, but they each had kind of a story. They were pigeonholed in their personalities. Denise Richards is in it, and I think she plays the same character in every movie she's in, kinda.
Well, she's must be typecast.
You know. What do you have that you didn't particularly enjoy?
Oh, I wrote there's too many people. There's too many of them. There's too many of them. Too many of, just like you said, too many girls who look kind of similar. Katherine Heigl, right, is in it. She's like one of the top billed people, and she's in it for like the first minute or two, and then she's gone.
I think she's out
She gone.
within 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, George Clooney was in that one film,
that's
remember?
true. He was. It was hard to keep track of who was who. I made little notes. Oh, she's the one with the curly blonde hair. Oh, I know who she is. She's Denise Richards, and Adam is what's his name? David, whatever his name is. And
From Bones. Or
yeah, I figured out who Kate was pretty quickly. But there's a few others that
I think
yeah, it
one
was it was hard to follow who was who for a while there, and it's a little disjointed. I know what they were going, I can see what they were going for, and it was close. But yeah, it
I
just
think
didn't.
the acting kind of saves it. I do think
Yes.
that there's a lot of good actors in this movie. And I think if they weren't in it, I think it probably would have been really bad.
I
If
would
there was,
agree.
they saved this movie.
I think they're all really good. I can't think of anyone who wasn't really I was
But you
disappointed
kind of
with.
know who the murderer is.
Oh, do you?
You do, I think.
Okay. Well, I did because, of course,
Well, but
I have to know all that shit going into it.
there's a
But I think
dead.
they did a fair enough job of leading us here and there. And
Well, you know who it is, but you don't know who that person is, if that makes sense. Like because you see what
okay,
happens at the middle, so you
I
know
got you.
who it is, but
Yes,
you don't.
you don't know you know who he was, but you don't know
As a kid, you know who he was,
who
but you
he or
don't know
she
who he.
is.
Yes.
I don't know.
So
But I think he did a good job of leading us near the end there to someone else.
there's also a lot of if you follow the logic of it's basically a revenge story, say, right? There's a lot of extraneous kills that I don't know if that's supposed to lead us down a different path, but there's a lot of people being killed that aren't involved in that central plot,
Hmm. Okay.
which I mean, it does lead into, it adds more gore, which is what a slasher film has and everything, but logically, I'm not exactly sure why it had to be done.
Okay. Yeah, well, they're probably trying to lead us different paths, or
Maybe.
I don't really have a lot to say bad about it. It was a little, except that this. Story was a little disjointed at times, and
It's one of those films, though, that there's not a lot of bad things to say about it, but there's not a lot of good things to say about it. It's just
yeah, it's
is.
fine.
And I
It's
think besides, like we said, the acting is good. So, and that saves the film. But there's nothing exceptional about it. I mean, everything was okay.
everything was okay. I agree.
I think they could have followed some storylines a little more. You're right, it's very disjointed. We kind of get a little taste of certain things and then they're just gone and forgotten. Almost like it was severely edited,
It is based on a novel.
called.
A novel of the same title, Karen, by Tom Savage.
Oh,
Tom Savage.
sounds made up.
Yeah. Did okay at the box office. It won some Teen Choice Awards, apparently. So there you go.
Well, I think Katherine Heigl, I don't know if she was on Grey's Anatomy then, but obviously she would have been famous. The David, I don't, it starts with a B. He was he was Angel, I think, which was very
She was not in
popular.
Grey's Anatomy yet. This predates that, but
I think he was pretty well known
he was.
because he was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, then Angel, then Bones.
Hmm.
But as a teen choice, I would say he was probably in Buffy, maybe then. I
He was
don't
in
know.
both. Buffy apparently ran from 97 to 2003 and Angel from 99 to 2004. So this is
So he
2001.
might have been one of the main draws then.
He was.
Denise Richards is probably well known. But was she in her famous role by then?
Yeah, Starship Troopers came out in 97 and yeah, she was in the James Bond World Is Not Enough in 99. So yeah, people knew who Denise Richards was. She probably had the most screen time of all of them, actually.
Well, Dorothy, she was in Grey's Anatomy too, I think,
Hmm.
later.
Okay. Yeah, she was.
But as an adult, not as like a teen.
Yeah. The cast is all good looking too. I'll say that.
Yeah.
They're all attractive people. Not Marley Shelton though. She's
Okay,
something.
Craig.
She was really good. So I don't know what happened to her career, but whatever.
But you'll be looking it up later tonight.
Yeah, they're all really good. All right. Do you want to give we're ready to give our cocktail rating?
I'd give it a 4.
Really?
Well, just because, like I said, for its genre, I'd give it a 3. But in the scheme of things, overall, related to everything else, I'd give it a 4.
I think it's a 3.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna.
It
It's cool.
wasn't bad.
It's just
I
because
thought
you're enamored with the one with
no, no,
Kate.
no,
Does
no, no, no. It does. It's not that. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
I guess as those slasher movies go, but it's not. Well,
Well, like I've said before, it depends on what you go in expecting
I
to, and how
guess
you feel about it. So
true. It's fine. You want to give it a 3? That's fine.
I think it's fine.
I'd give it a 3.5,
Yeah.
but we
That
don't do
means it
that.
that means it took us 3 cocktails to get through it, boys and girls.
It's our average, so we would say it's the median for us,
Yep. Or one Rush Golden Ale tall can.
which I forced your gift of a wife to buy. Yes.
Damn you, Karen. Damn
Damn
you.
you.
All right. Would you like to hear a review from the time, Karen?
I would.
All right. Before we get into that, I have to tell you this has a 4.9 out of 10 on IMDb. You get that? 4.9.
Hmm.
It has an 11% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
See, I told you not everybody's going to
11.
like it.
11%. What do you think Google users think, Karen?
Google users are generous. I'm going to go with 60%. Oh man, did I go over?
You're under.
Oh,
Google users, 63%.
I think if I'm within 5, I should get it.
Judges? Sorry, Karen. All right. The review I have is from the New York Times.
No, not Roger Ebert.
No.
Okay.
It's dated February 3rd, 2001 by a writer named Elvis Mitchell.
Ooh, rough childhood.
Yeah, indeed. And it's pretty long. but I'm going to read the whole thing because I haven't read it yet. Valentine is in the tradition of heartwarming holiday classics like Black Christmas, Friday the 13th, and Halloween. Years ago, Jay Leno had a joke about the ultimate film along these lines, an angry Thanksgiving picture called Turkey. This time, it's his turn to do the carving. Valentine could have been a part of that routine since it feels like both a joke and a turkey. This revenge scenario starts with a young nerd named Nerd. Anyone say nerd anymore, Karen?
I think
Young
they do.
nerd named Jeremy, maybe they did in 2001, being turned down by a bunch of girls at a junior high dance. It's middle school. His humiliation ending with a bowl of punch dumped on him and his being stripped in front of a gym full of other students. I thought it might have been like blood there for a second, like Carrie. But years later, the girls are now young women who receive over-decorated Valentine's Day cards with charming rhymes like roses are red, violets are blue. They'll need dental records to identify you. That's clever, Karen. A killer is stalking them, prowling underlighted interiors in a mask with a cherub's face and dispatching the Valentine cast one by one. The kindest of the group is Kate, who maybe that's why I liked her, who politely demurred
Demurred. Yeah.
demurred years before when Jeremy asked her to dance. Because she said, "Oh, maybe later." There's the former chubby one, Dorothy, Lily, who has blonde curly tendrils, and the boy-friendly Paige. These beautiful women have a hard time getting dates, which gives Valentine a chance to let the dogs out in a new millennium version of She's Gotta Have It, with a bunch of guys given a few seconds of screen time to show what desperate losers they are. Between this scene and the Cupid mask killer's eliminating his prey in several bloody ways, in one instance by using a bow and arrow, Valentine is probably the least likely date movie since Pokemon 2000. Whatever your feelings about the Blair Witch Project, its no-tech mixture of the real world and Night of the Living Dead should have freed the horror film from the burden of hitting the mark of all the slasher epics that came before it. Scary Movie and the Nike commercial in which an athletic woman outran the costumed marauder with a butcher's knife hammered the final nails into that convention's coffin. Valentine seems insulting after what now seems like centuries of watching nubile targets scream and flee. Or is it flee and scream? The cast of this movie barely existed when Halloween gave these movies a new lease on life 23 years ago, so some credit should be given to them for enduring the silent, impervious to pain, marauding murder bit. The actresses aren't bad, with the exception of Miss Richards, whose vacant, smiley demeanor seems more suited to someone unveiling a refrigerator freezer on The Price is Right. Probably the biggest victim of Valentine, besides the audience, is David whatever his name is. How do you say his name, Karen?
I don't know. Spell it.
The guy, Angel, the guy,
I
the
know. I
Angel
can't.
guy.
All I remember is it started
Boreanaz.
Boreanaz.
Boreanaz?
I don't know.
I
That's
don't know.
probably wrong.
Who steps away from his small screen sensitive vampire role in Angel to play Adam, Kate's well meaning alcoholic boyfriend, who, like Angel, has a fluid abuse problem. There's a tiny joke when Kate defends him by saying he's no angel. The worst kind of mystery is one in which nobody cares who the killer is. Even the cast of Valentine doesn't seem that concerned, and their fictional lives are at stake. When it's hard to hear the dialogue because the audience is laughing, it's clear that Valentine doesn't even succeed on its own limited terms. The movie starts off with a Warner Brothers logo tinted red. Sure, red is the color of, blood, but it also means stop, and we can only hope the makers of Valentine will take that hint. Valentine is rated R and includes several violent murders, adult language, sexuality, and alcohol consumption. Elvis has left the building, Karen. He did not enjoy Valentine. And he wishes they would stop making films, even though I think, was their first one. Oh, this is not his first one. He directed Urban Legend, too, before this. He knows what he's doing.
Does he?
Apparently.
Elvis doesn't think so.
No, Elvis doesn't. All right. Are you ready to get into it scene by scene, Karen?
Yep, let's go.
Valentine 2001. Rated R for strong horror violence, some sexuality and language.
See, all mine said was rated R for flashing lights.
That's what the Amazon did, but I got this from IMDb.
Oh,
But yeah, Amazon Prime said flashing lights, rated R, flashing lights. Danger, danger, Will Robinson.
well, that's for people who might have epileptic seizures. So,
I know.
but that's not why it should be rated R.
I know, but that just means there's a disco scene. There's a rave scene or whatever they call it these days. Anyway, film begins and we have credits and we see a yearbook from Robert F. Kennedy Middle School, 1988. Karen, you remember 1988?
Good glory years. But I looked up, I couldn't find Robert Kennedy Middle School.
Shocking. And we see a boy asking girls to dance and he is shot down repeatedly.
So wait, so just out of curiosity, because I can't remember, is this a Valentine's Day dance?
I'm sure it is.
Is that why he goes on this rampage later? Because
I assume.
okay. I didn't take notice, although the Cupid mask
Yeah.
is in there.
St. Valentine's Day dance in
Okay.
1988, San Francisco.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not in San Francisco. Like, that's why I
That's
tried to
what
find
the
it.
that's
No, no,
what
no.
the
I
thing
tried to
says.
find
I don't
the
know.
school, but it doesn't exist in San Francisco. Might exist somewhere else.
So we guys and boys asking girls to dance, and they're all mean to him like girls are in middle school. But eventually, Dorothy agrees to dance, and then
Well,
we cut.
Kate, they're all mean to him, and I said this is where I said, "Wow, they are literally miniatures of the actresses.
Yeah, except for
They
Kate.
look good." And Kate was
Kate's
the
not mean.
nicest.
She
Yeah.
is, except for Dorothy. Dorothy's the
Well,
nicest.
yeah, she was really nice.
Yes. So Dorothy agrees to dance, but then we see them making out under the bleachers. And of
They both
course,
seem to know what they're doing
yeah,
for
yeah,
being so nerdy and outcast.
yeah.
They're just kissing, the kissy facing
And it's all ruined by a bunch of older kids, I think, Karen. Oh, bullies. Probably those
boys.
seventh graders.
See, even the seventh grade boys are not looking good in this film.
But so all of a sudden, Dorothy calls him a pervert and says that he attacked her because she doesn't want to, let anyone know that, yeah, she actually agreed to do this. And
With the
she's
nerd,
embarrassed.
I guess.
So the bullies beat up this Jeremy kid, and then we see someone in a Cupid mask watch as the bullies beat him up. They're fucking kicking him, and
I know it's bad.
it was bad.
I don't know where the chaperones
If I
were,
was a
but
student there, I'd probably stop it. It was
they
so
were
bad.
really going to town. Plus, they stripped
And
him.
Karen, you know me, I'm non-confrontational, especially in sixth grade. But anyway, and we have words to read, Karen. 13 years later.
Well, they really beat the crap out of him. Then they stripped him and pushed him in his underwear out in front of the whole student body that was there. So he was,
He has some fashionable briefs on, though. I will
yeah, I
give
think they
him
were
that.
blue or
Yeah, they
something.
were blue. 13 years later. See a girl named Shelley on a date and it's not going well.
It's a bad date.
I guess they're speed dating or some shit or something.
No, this is just a single date.
All right. And the guy talks about himself in the third person.
Yes.
Oh, that was funny. And there's more credits.
She wants to leave, and he starts telling her half of the bill. And then he wants a kiss, even though he's been horrible the whole time. Because that's what you should, even though you're a jerk, you should still get a kiss.
Duh.
I mean, there is no good guy in this film, but I've met some of these guys before. So, but they all should be, there should be a mix
I
of,
have two, Karen. I've probably been friends with some of these guys. But anyway, then we cut to Shelley. She leaves. She gets out of it. And she's with a cadaver. Apparently
yeah,
she's a medical student.
She's a medical student. She tells him to seek psychiatric help as soon as possible, and she drives back to the school, and she's with the cadaver. So, yay, cadaver facts. How old do you think the average cadaver is? Because the cadaver she has actually kind of looked like her date. Didn't you think a little
Yeah,
bit?
a little
I
bit.
almost thought she killed him and then she was going to cut him up. But no, I went down the wrong path there. How old do you think the average cadaver is?
43.
43,
I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there.
73.
That makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah, what do you think about it?
I don't know. I just maybe thought some of them are like
Younger.
unclaimed bodies and things like that. So,
Jesus. So you want to know why it's called a cadaver? It comes from the Latin verb cadere, which means to fall. Its English origins refer to soldiers who died in battle, i.e., the fallen. Dissections of cadavers is a major rite of passage for medical school students. It says some have been known to run from the room and throw up.
well, duh. I'm sure you never did that though, Karen, did you?
I never had to work with cadavers. I worked with petri dishes. But I will say on the floor that I worked
Did
on,
you work with dishes in your tank top?
of course, no matter how cold it was,
All right. As you do.
I worked on the in the science building, and I worked on the fourth floor. And the donation, I don't know if I told you this before or not, but the because we've seen a lot of cadavers, so maybe I've told this story, and if I have, I apologize.
About the head.
No.
Okay.
So we were on the fourth floor, but in the elevator we were two. So there was like ground, there was basement, ground, one, two. So our floor number was two, but we were actually the fourth floor in the building. And the donation where you would go and sign up to donate your body to science was on the second floor. So that's what they would tell people. They would say it's on the second floor. And we would find a lot of lovely older generation people wandering around on our floor looking for where to donate their body to science. And we would escort them back down to, I knew where the office was that they needed to go to. It wasn't a lot, but it was, enough that I would know. I would know looking at them. I bet I know why they're wandering around and take them down, which is amazing because if you don't have those resources, you need those resources. But if you read the book stiff, you don't always end up in the medical room like that. So anyway, it's a really good book, but a lot of people don't like it. It's about what happens when you donate your body. It can go into many different
Yeah.
areas of
Just
research.
going into a body farm and just
Body
bot
farm, car crash
car
tests,
crash test. Yeah.
things like that. It's an interesting book. But anyway, that's what you need to know about cadavers.
Okay.
So most cadavers aren't going to have six-pack abs like Shelley's. Is it Shelley?
Yeah, Shelly. No,
Like
this, yeah, Shelly.
like Shelley's cadaver had.
So she hears a noise and she goes to investigate. She goes into the locker room and she's startled by another student, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if he was the janitor or a student.
He had a backpack, so I assumed he was a student.
No, but he was in like a blue, like almost looked like I don't know.
But then she finds a Valentine's Day card on her locker, taped to her locker, and it says, "The journey of love is in arduous trek. My love grows for you as you bleed from your neck."
Yes.
That's pretty good. She throws the card away and goes back to her corpse. And she begins to cut on the body, and then it breathes. And
She doesn't quite cut it. She's about to.
yeah, she's about to. But just, she's startled. She jumps back, and then the actual corpse falls out of the closet. The body on the table is gone. When she looks back, she grabs a scalpel and looks around the room in her tank top, I wrote, Karen.
So the thing is too, and this is picky, but she's in there. She's about to make her first ever cut on a cadaver.
You
Totally,
don't know it's her first ever.
it's in perfect condition. You can see it when it falls
Oh,
out.
on that one? Yeah, it's
But
the
you
first cut
no,
on
you
that one.
actually you keep the same one
Oh, do you?
through your whole study. Yeah, you keep it. That's why it has a name. That's why she named it.
Okay.
Hers was Chad or whatever. That's not the
Yes.
actual name of the person that you're
Yeah, yeah,
cutting
yeah.
open. You name your cadaver,
Okay.
and you would never make your cuts unsupervised. There would always be someone there. showing you how to cut the body. I mean, that's the whole point.
Okay.
But anyway, go ahead. She's
Then,
wandering around with the scalpel in her tank top.
yes,
Proceed
yes, she
for
is.
quite a while.
A little while. And she is stalked by someone in a Cupid mask. Then she
Okay,
finds herself in a
let's just,
morgue, I
yeah, she
guess is
doesn't.
what it is.
So Cupid,
Is that like a Greek thing, Karen? Cupid?
well, Cupid is in Roman and Greek, but I'm going to tell you
Roman. All
about
right.
just the Roman because they all just have different names. It's the same stories. Cupid's the ancient god of love in all its
Is Eros
varieties.
one of the other ones or something?
That's the Greek counterpart, is
Okay.
Eros.
Look at me, Karen.
According to myth, Cupid was the son of Mercury, the winged messenger of the god, and Venus, the god of love. The mention of Cupid typically conjures up images of a cherubic infant wielding a bow and arrow, which this mask is. That's what the mask is, a cherub. But that always wasn't the case. Long before the Romans adopted and renamed him, and way before his association with Valentine's Day, Cupid was known to the Greeks as Eros, which he was a handsome god of love. But the Roman character was a cherubic little boy who followed his mother's wishes to make people fall in love. It says it wasn't just the Romans who became obsessed with the Greek portrayal of Cupid. Centuries later, Renaissance painters took up this imagery and depicted the Cupid figure as a child. Full steam ahead here. It was King Henry VIII in 1537, King Henry VIII of England, who officially made Valentine's Day a public holiday by royal charter. The holiday was celebrated with the drawing of names and the exchange of love tokens. That's why people give each other cards and gifts. But it was really it originated from the Roman festival of Lupercalia, where Roman priests would sacrifice animals and use their blood to slap women as a fertility blessing.
No, as you do.
Then the Christians took over, and
Well, of course they did, Karen.
the holiday is named after a Christian martyr whose beheading occurred around the same time as the holiday is celebrated.
Oh,
Woo!
well, that makes sense.
And the Tudors, which is Henry VIII, celebrated Valentine's Day, and the phrase "wear your heart on your sleeve" may have originated from this time. So Henry VIII is the one who made it because Henry VIII had a falling out with the Catholic Church. So he didn't want to celebrate the Catholic holiday, so he made his own holiday. And that's
Was
where
it
the
because of all
tokens.
his wives, Karen?
Yes, he really wasn't. He liked to fall in love, but he didn't stay in love, that one. So that's where trinkets and things come from, giving your love little cards and stuff like that.
Hello, boys and girls. Karen and I hope you are enjoying the podcast. You know what I think can make your listening experience even better? A delicious themed adult beverage. You can find all our drink recipes on our website, scaryspirits.com, in the recipe den. Tune in every Wednesday and join us for a drink. Now, back to the show.
All right,
But
so
she ends up in the morgue.
she ends up in a morgue with a bunch of body bags. The killer starts unzipping them, but then he's like, "No, I ain't got time for this shit." So he just starts stabbing them.
Yeah.
He gets all stabby.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Just stabs everyone until gets
No,
to her.
the last one. He gets to the last one, and he unzips it, and it's her, it's Shelly, and he slits her throat. She gone, and blood
Just
runs
like the
from
card
his
said.
nose.
Yeah, the blood drips out of the mask.
And we should say that in the very beginning, this kid in sixth grade had a bloody nose. It all goes back to that shit.
Yes. So you know who the killer is. It's the kid
Well,
from sixth grade.
You assume.
Yes, but you don't know who that might be
No.
as a young adult.
So then we cut to Kate
But let
and
me just
Paige.
say he had quite the glow up from middle school, as we do, right?
Yeah, that's what we all do, Karen.
Yeah.
Then we see Kate and Paige speed dating.
Even though Kate kind of has a boyfriend.
And not much happens there. Next thing I wrote is Paige gets a call about the death of Shelley. They're leaving and she gets a call.
Yeah, and we find out Adam's a drunk and Kate's going to break up with him. And there's one good guy in all of these speed dating moments, and Paige steals them from Kate.
But is he? Is he the good guy?
He's the only one that they deem Yeah, most of one's talking about his mom. What's the other one? I can't remember. He doesn't say any, one of them doesn't say anything, I don't think.
The one she takes turns out to be a dud, so
Yeah.
whatever. So then we cut to Shelley's funeral and we see Adam, I guess the drunk, but he arrives in his 1968 Mustang convertible, Karen.
Yeah, nice car.
You have any idea what that car is worth now, Karen? Any idea? 1968 Mustang convertible. We haven't done this in a while, so
There are probably a
felt like
lot. Were
I
there a lot of those?
needed to take this opportunity. I don't know. I can't tell you how many were produced, Karen.
$28,500.
You're way low, Karen.
$52,500.
What do you think the original MSRP on that car was?
$12,800.
$2,920.
Really?
In
Wow.
1968, it was
Yeah.
$3,000, more or less. Actually, low retail is 14,000, so you were above that, but average retail is $41,100. You know
It's a
what
nice
one
car.
you know what one in pristine condition goes for now?
No.
$68,000.
I always liked those cars. And then
Did you?
I rode in one that was much, much later.
Convertible?
Yeah, 95. And it was a rough ride. Like it's not smooth. I think is probably the whole point, but yeah, it was a nice car he had. So he says he's been sober for like 3 weeks, and then
He's
I
got a
guess
bottle in the front seat with him, Karen.
I think he's a journalist because
I
she
think so
shows
too.
him that, oh, he got a front page article, but when she picks up the paper, it's covering a bottle of tequila, I think.
Yeah, but apparently Kate's boyfriend has a drinking problem, Adam, and then Adam leaves and he drives away in his 1968 Mustang convertible. So then the detective is at the funeral and he comes to ask the girls a bunch of questions about Shelley. And apparently Shelley's date that night, her speed date, I don't know why it's her date. Well, it was her date, right? They weren't speed dating. It was her date.
No, it was her date. Yeah, Shelley's date.
It
Yeah.
was. He's missing. And the detective gives Paige his card. Here, contact me if you hear anything, know anything.
She just acted weird around him the whole. I'm like, why are they being cagey with the police? Like they always acted like they were covering something up. I don't know if that was supposed to make us think one of them was doing it or what, but it
I don't know.
was weird.
So then we got another Valentine's Day card.
This is Dorothy, I think.
Dorothy. Roses are red, violets are blue. They'll need dental records to identify you. And they're all signed JM, which is important.
Yes, because Jeremy was the kid at school. So when they're back she gets this card at her house and her father is chasing a young woman up the stairs. So again, down
It's
to
his
every
it's his
last
wife.
male does not look good in this movie. I think she's younger than Dorothy.
Yeah. Dorothy and her stepmother have words, but apparently Dorothy is wealthy.
Yes. Or her dad is anyway. And then her stepmother says something about why you've been on the treadmill. Maybe when the young guy comes in, is that why? The stepmother
Yeah.
insults, but we see why she's lost weight. She's worked out because she met this guy at yoga class and then her,
Campbell.
si-
And
yeah,
he comes in and says, "Oh, I got bad news. My roommate didn't pay the rent and I'm left out. I'm out in the streets.
and he's
Can I
famous
stay
too,
with you maybe a couple of days?"
but I don't know who he
And she
is.
says, "I don't know, let me go ask my wife." But that's a George Thorogood song,
Yes, it
so
is. She says no, by the way, in the George Thorogood song.
I don't know, man. She kind of funny.
Leo, yeah.
I know. Everybody funny. Now you funny too. But anyway, but Dorothy is not funny and she agrees to let Campbell stay because I think she's smitten, Karen. She's smitten.
Yeah, and she tells the maid to go make up a room, and it's like the staff doesn't, nobody likes her. Like the staff doesn't like her. So she's not likable. Like a lot of the characters they're not very likable. Like, why wouldn't the staff like her? Unless she's kind of a
Because
bitch
they're
or
the
something.
staff.
Yeah, but you can be kind to the staff, I would imagine.
I mean, she seemed likable enough to me. I don't know. But Dorothy has a guest room prepared for him. Whatever, you can stay with me. And then Dorothy argues with her stepmom. Row, row. It's like a cat fight. But then we see Kate in the shower, question mark.
Yeah. I'm like, ooh, of course, a shower scene. I said, that's a cheap shower for that house because I thought it was Dorothy.
Oh no, it's
And it's like,
Kate's.
no, it's Kate, the
And
other
apparently,
blonde girl.
there's someone in her apartment. She gets out of the shower and turns off the water and goes to look for him, but no one there. Then she gets back in the tub and tries to turn on the water, and there's no water, so she ends up rinsing her hair in the toilet, Karen.
Well, she tries all the faucets
She
before she
does.
does that. But she's got
And she does, she's got a bottle of water, but not enough in it to rinse her hair too.
probably has conditioner in her hair and she needs to rinse it out. And I,
I
I thought
suppose.
that someone turned off the water, but I'm guessing this happens in her apartment often because she calls Marie or whoever the super is.
So then her phone rings and there's nobody on the other line, on the end of the line, but we hear an elevator dinging. That I knew what it was immediately. It's like elevator door dinging,
It can't close, something's
can't
in the
close.
way.
So she goes out into the hall and finds a Cupid mask blocking the door to the elevator in her building. Then we cut to Lily, I guess is her name, watching a dating video.
Well, wait, so there's a guy across the hall from the
It
elevator
is this. There is
and he kind of hits on
Kate's
Kate
neighbor.
and he calls her, he speaks in rhyme. How about a date, Kate? You won't have to be late, Kate. Something like stupid stuff
Yeah.
like that. But we sort of meet him again, just another creepy dude.
So then we see Lily watching a dating video, and apparently Lily and Paige are roommates, I guess, because Paige is there too, and she's having some Captain Crunch, Karen. Captain Crunch cereal.
So back in the day, there were these services, I guess, where you'd go in and get videotaped, and then people could go in and view videotapes to choose people they might want to go out with or something,
Yep.
right? Basically,
That's that's
it was a dating service.
that's what I hear, Karen. And
Well, it
there's
was
a
before like, Match.com. There weren't those. It
yes,
was kind of like that, but you made a video and then people
yes,
watched videos and decided if they wanted to go out with you or not.
yes. At one point, I made a note about, oh my God, that mouse is ancient. When there's someone using a computer. So yes, this is 2001, but it's like might as well be 100 years ago, Karen. Then there's a ring at the door. There's nobody there, but there's a heart-shaped box left, and there's another card, and it's a well-known fact that beauty is skin deep. Savor the taste. You are what you eat. Love, JM.
And they argue over who might have sent it.
Or who it's for.
Well, true, but they can't JM, they don't know any JMs. But they eat who eats
Well,
the chocolate?
Lily
Lily
says,
eats the
okay, well
chocolate.
then it's for me. And then they decide that it's for her, and she takes out a chocolate and eats it, but it's full of maggots. Then Lily and Paige try to figure out who JM is, and one of them brings up Jeremy from sixth grade.
Jeremy Melton, who from middle school, but they made fun of him. And then they're like, "Oh, I wonder what happened to him. Wonder what happened to that kid that we brutalized in sixth
Yeah, he's
grade."
come back to kill your ass. That's what happened to him. He's had enough. So then we see Paige and Kate at an art show, question mark. Max's art show.
Yeah, he's another horrible man. He's supposed to be going out with Lily, right?
Yep.
And he hits on Kate right in front of Lily. And it's video art.
Yep.
I guess there's no other way to describe it.
And I also wrote that Paige meets Campbell there.
Yes,
And
but then Dorothy runs up.
the girls talk about the Cupid mask that they found in the elevator. And then Max divides the attendees at his art show into men and women.
On
And they
separate sides of the, I guess
and they have to walk through a different
it's like a
video maze or
tunnel of
some shit.
video mazes. And yeah, the men go in one side and the women go in the other.
And we cut to Lily and Max, and they're kissy facing, but apparently Max has invited another girl, Karen.
Max isn't monogamous. Let's just say that.
And Lily goes to leave. And as she's leaving, the videos are saying, "Don't walk away." And then Lily is shot with a bow
Well, she's directed in a
by
certain way
Cupid.
because,
Look at that,
yes,
Karen. I didn't get that until just now.
yes, she is shot by a bow.
Cupid
Like it.
shoots her
Yes,
with a bow and arrow several
yes.
times.
But she's directed in a certain way with the walls of the art installation. They keep closing and she can only go a certain way. And she's separated from her friends alone and then directed through the maze. And then she's shot with like three arrows, I think.
Yep, three of them. And then she falls down the stairs, and we see the killer bleeding from his nose. It's coming through the mask,
Yes.
Cupid mask. Then another woman comes in and confronts Campbell about his failed startup. Like
Yeah, she's yelling. Apparently, she gave him money.
yeah, he's a con man apparently. Then we cut to Adam and Kate at a bar, and they each have a club soda. Well, at first Kate orders a drink, but then orders a club soda. She says too because she's making him sober up, so she can't be drinking when he's
Yeah,
not
was it
allowed
after
to.
the art installation?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But Adam asks for a second chance. He has stopped drinking. It's all good.
He's a changed man.
He is. Then we cut to the detective talking to the girls. I guess that they're in the police station.
Yeah.
And the detective shows them a sympathy card that the parents received from Jeremy Melton. And then they all realize they've received threatening Valentines signed JM. So it must be Jeremy. And Dorothy is afraid she's going to be next. And she comes clean about lying that Jeremy attacked her way back when in sixth grade, Karen.
Only to the girls, not to the police, right?
Yes, correct. So then we cut to Kate because Kate's a writer, right? She's a reporter, writer for the newspaper or some shit. So she's searching for Jeremy on the interwebs.
Yeah, and it's like click, 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 like it's old
Yes.
school.
And I'm right. And that's an ancient mouse right there. But Adam scares her.
Comes up behind her or something.
Yeah. And then they kissy face, of course. And he assures her that everything will be okay. Then we cut to the girls at the police station. Detective tells them Jeremy ended up in a mental hospital and
Well, at first his parents died in a fire. It was ruled an accident. And then he went to reform school. Then he ended up in a mental institution.
nobody knows where he is now. And the detective does like a kind of early age progression thing on his computer there to show them what he might look like now. And I wrote, the detective seems interested in Paige, Karen.
Yeah. And he's, to put it kindly, an older gentleman, middle-aged guy.
Well, he's bald.
But he's middle-aged. He's
I
at
don't
least
know.
in his 40s.
Yeah, he may be younger than that.
No,
May
he's
have,
not.
may have premature balding.
He looked old. He was at least in his 40s.
All right, whatever. So the detective asked them about their boyfriends, and we learned that Dorothy doesn't know her boyfriend's last name.
Yeah, all she knows is his name is Campbell.
Campbell doesn't know his last name. And detective lets them all go, but he asks Paige to stay behind. And of course, he comes on to her.
He's like, what are we going to do about this sexual tension between us? I have written here, so gross. And I go, what's up with all the male behavior in this movie?
Then we cut to a hot iron, Karen, on an ironing board.
That's going to be some foreshadowing, I would guess.
Yep. And see the person in a Cupid mask, and apparently Kate's neighbor is in her apartment trying on her underwear. Is that what's
Oh, is that
happening?
what? I couldn't tell. See, I thought he was across the way. I thought he was in his own apartment trying on women's clothing. Of course, they have to make him a villain for trying on women's clothing, but I didn't think maybe he was in Kate's apartment and that's why he got
I think he
killed.
was in Kate's apartment.
Okay, I missed that part.
Cupid kills him with the hot iron.
No, he wouldn't have been.
He says, "I'm sorry, I'm sick," but you're gone.
But he would have had to drag him out of there. I think he was in his other. I think he was in his
I don't know,
own
but
apartment.
Kate arrives home in her apartment, and we see the iron on the ironing board, but the cord is wrapped around it now.
Yeah, and there's no flesh on it,
No,
which
there's
he
not.
pressed it into the guy, so it would have been fleshy.
But anyway, Kate arrives at her apartment outside, and Adam is there at her door trying, buzzing her, but of course she's not home. She is now. And they exchange gifts. So then Kate goes up to her apartment. We get a shot of the iron, and Paige is there and startles Kate. And then Dorothy calls them and tells them the police spent 2 hours questioning Campbell. Don't know his last name.
Still,
And then the detective calls Kate and tells
I don't
her
know
that,
why Kate's the point person, but she is.
yeah, told her they picked up Shelley's date. They found whatever his name was because he had a
Oh,
JM name too.
see, I didn't recognize. So his last name is Marquette because
Yeah,
I kept thinking, who is that? I don't know who that is,
that's
but
the
it's the guy that Shelley dated. I got it.
Shelley was at the date with. Then we cut to Dorothy and she gives Campbell a watch. Is it a Rolex, Karen? Look like a Rolex.
It probably is, but I was curious at that point, what is the most expensive watch in the world? And she looks like she just went in, it's like not even, it's just thrown in a box. It's not like, you know how you would present a watch.
Yes.
It's like she went in her dad's room, found the watch, threw it in a
Yes.
box, and took it to him. But the most expensive watch in the world, at least in this was in 2014, but this is what popped up multiple times. The Graf Diamonds Hallucination, priced at $55 million. Dollars. It's a diamond decked Graf masterpiece made up of a total of 110 carats of colored diamonds, including pink, blue, green, orange, and yellow. $55 million. Dollars. You,
Does it keep time, Karen?
I don't know. It sure looks pretty. I don't know if it keeps time or not.
Does it take a licking and keep on ticking?
That's what my watch does.
They kissy face after
I
he
think it's
gives
a
her.
Rolex. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I didn't know we were exchanging gifts."
And then we cut to them laying upstairs in bed, and apparently Campbell was unable to perform, shall we say.
Yeah.
Dorothy says, I'm going to go take a shower. But then Campbell gives her a Cupid necklace,
He goes, "Oh, my turn."
and he leaves.
Yeah, he has to go to a meeting.
And then we see him talking to a bank. He's trying to get funds transferred.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
can.
understand this part at all because he's using names we've never heard. And I don't know what he's doing here.
Yeah, I didn't know if somehow it was going to go be related to her family or so. I don't like if he had gotten bank numbers or something, but I couldn't figure
Yes.
it out. I think we missed something there. Like they cut it out or whatever. But he's obviously desperate for money.
But then Dorothy calls on the intercom
Yes, the old intercom system.
down there and says, Hey,
Fancy.
hot water went out. Can you relight the pilot on the
Because she
water
knows
heater?
where she know he was going to go work out before he went to his meeting. She didn't
Yeah.
want him to leave, but he just left her and then he works out. So he's at the pool. I think there's
In
probably
the basement.
cameras. Yeah, where she could see where he was maybe, but she said, "Could you please go light it?" And he's trying his best to be polite. He is polite when he talks to her, but his facial expression is showing us he's annoyed.
So he finds the hot water heater and he lights a match to start the pilot light, turns on the gas, and someone in a Cupid mask hits him in the back with an axe.
Yeah, there's just an axe. Like, he doesn't light it the first time. He's like, shit. And then we see, and this is one of the cool shots. You do see like far away down a hall, it's a flickering light, and there's a person back there. And he's lighting another, he lights the pilot. But as he's bending over to light the pilot light, you see, oh, there's just a hatchet there, stuck in like a stump or something, just in the basement, as you do, I guess.
So he gone.
He
And
says, well,
then,
after he lights the pilot light, he's like, that should be worth a Porsche.
yeah, at least. So Dorothy's having a party,
It's an elaborate party. It's quite the
Valentine's Day party,
shindig. Yeah.
apparently. Campbell doesn't show up for the party because he's dead in the basement,
I
Karen.
think she's stress eating too. Like, is she eating chicken wings or something? I don't
I
know.
don't know,
She's
but she
eating.
thinks she's being dumped.
Yeah.
Then Paige hooks up with her speed dating guy.
Yeah, they were playing phone tag and he showed up at the party.
They kissy face. He says, I got something to show you, surprise. They go upstairs, whatever.
We can guess what his surprise is. But I'm like, she's known him 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she ties him to the bed and ends up pouring hot wax on him and leaves because apparently she's not impressed with his surprise.
Yes.
So then the girl we saw earlier
The
enters and
stepmom.
confronts, no, this is the girl who Campbell's already taken her money.
Oh, I thought it was the stepmom.
No, it's the other girl. She enters and confronts Dorothy, and she says the Cupid necklace is hers, but Paige and Kate throw her out. And then we learn that, well, Max tells Kate that Lily never made it to LA. Lily's boyfriend, Max, or her
Yes.
artist friend, Max.
Yeah, because they kept saying, because the detective was like, weren't there more of you before? And they're like, oh, Lily's in LA. Very nonchalant. They don't notice. And then Max said, no, the inappropriate artist said, no, she never showed up. He called and
So then the girl we saw come in that was all upset about Campbell taking her money, she steals the watch that Dorothy gave Campbell. And she finds her way to the billiard room for some reason, and she sees the Cupid killer dragging the maid into the billiard room.
yeah, so why did the
And
maid have to die? It was
I
weird.
don't know. But then the girl hits the Cupid killer with the pool cue, and she runs away and hides in a sauna. And
Yeah,
then while she's in there, she finds the body of Campbell, question
yeah,
mark. Is that who
yeah.
it is?
Campbell's in there. Yeah.
She leaves the sauna, and I wrote she should have taken off her shoes as she's
That's
walking
what
down
I
the
said
hallway.
too. Take off your shoes. I thought he was going to cook her in the sauna,
I did too.
but no.
You know, she gets out, but she's walking down the high hallway very loudly in her high-heeled shoes. And the killer throws her through a walk-in shower and impales her on shattered glass. She gone.
That was pretty brutal. Those sharp pieces of glass sticking up, and you knew it was going to happen, and he shoves her neck down on it. I mean, this is as good as a point as any.
Gonna talk
I
about
did want to
walk-in
know
showers.
which organ dies first after death.
Oh,
You want to guess?
which organ dies first after death? Probably the heart.
Well, luckily, it's the brain and nerve cells because they require a constant supply of oxygen and will die within a few minutes once you stop breathing. The next to go will be the heart, followed by the liver, then the kidneys and pancreas, which can last for about an hour. Skin, tendons, heart valves, and corneas will still be alive after a day.
Okay. Kate tells Dorothy that Lily never showed up in LA. The detective calls Kate and tells her that they had to let Jason Marquette go. They had no evidence. Kate tells the detective that never showed up in LA. He turns on his siren and says, I'll be right there.
He says, stay in groups. He's on his way.
And then Kate catches Adam having a drink.
I
And
guess he hasn't changed.
I wrote, she gives him the Heisman.
Gotcha.
But then we see Paige in a hot tub.
She's in her swimsuit, which
She is.
she just happens to bring to the Valentine's Day party.
Well, as you do. Killer enters, and there's a rose left by the champagne. She gets out of the hot tub and is attacked by the killer. He puts the lid over the hot tub, locking her in.
I was going for a theme. I thought he's going to cook her, but he doesn't cook her either.
And again, he bleeds from his nose. And then he goes at her with a large drill. And apparently, it's not a battery operated drill either, Karen. It's got a cord attached to an
Yes.
outlet.
So it's a plexiglass top, so we can see Paige struggling under. And I guess she's supposed to be running out of air because as he's
I
poking
guess.
the air holes, she's trying to breathe through the air holes. But then he finally nicks her or gets her in the shoulder or something.
Yep.
And then
He opens the cover and throws the drill in, electrocuting her, which he could have done to begin with. So, whatever.
I guess he needed her maimed so she wouldn't climb out fast enough. I don't know.
And then all the lights go out in the house, and the party guests leave.
Yeah, they're like, screw this. They're out.
Dorothy tells Kate Adam could be the killer. They argue. And she says, and I think Kate says, well, it could be Campbell. I don't know, they blame each other's boyfriends or whatever. And Dorothy still feels like she's the fat girl
The
and
outsider, yeah.
she has a moment. I wrote. And right here I'm thinking, oh, maybe it is her.
Well,
Maybe it
at
is
one
her.
point, I thought maybe they were in it together because the
Who?
way Adam and Dorothy, because they
Okay.
have a little animosity, but of course he does because she lied about him. So he's given her the hairy eyeball a lot. And I actually noticed it, but I
Oh.
thought it was some sort of communication, like they had both come around to taking out the bullies.
Then Kate leaves the house, called the detective on their 2001 cell phones, Karen.
Yes,
Everything looks so old.
including us now. But yeah, go ahead.
And as she's calling the detective, she hears another phone ringing there near her. So she follows the sound and she finds the detective's phone in a koi pond with the IOU note she wrote to Adam. And the detective's head pops up too, I guess.
Yes,
I
that was
guess it's the
exciting.
detective's head.
Yeah, we
Not
can't
very
really see.
good.
No, but Adam gave her a gift and she gave him an IOU for TLC way back when they were on the stoop.
So
But she sees that note in the water
she runs back to the house. Adam finds her and he asks her to dance. And they do.
because she has suspicions now that it's him and she doesn't want him to kill her.
And then Kate knees him in the groin.
So she can get away. Yeah.
He runs away. And she runs upstairs looking for Dorothy. Adam's there. He asks her what's going on. Kate runs away from Adam and finds Paige in the hot tub. Kate hits Adam with a bottle of champagne in the head. And then she finds the other girl impaled in the shower. So she runs to Dorothy's father's office to call for help. The phone is dead. Kate breaks the glass to the gun cabinet and pulls out a handgun.
Which Dorothy had told her that her dad
It
had
was there,
guns.
yes.
Yeah.
She goes upstairs. The killer attacks. They roll down the stairs, and then there's gunshots. Adam shoots the person in the Cupid mask, who we assume is the killer. He and Kate embrace. Adam removes the Cupid mask, revealing the killer to be Dorothy. Dun dun dun.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
So then Adam calls the police, and then Adam and Kate try to figure out what caused Dorothy to snap. And as Adam is holding Kate to his chest, blood drips from his nose onto Kate's cheek. Then there's a scream. Credits the end. Is that
Do you
what you
think he,
saw?
do you think he killed her? No.
Don't know, Karen.
Sequel potential,
It's
though.
left very wide open. I'm sure
But they
Kate
had been
never
dating
saw
for,
the killer bleeding from his nose, so she has no
yeah,
idea,
she doesn't know. Yeah.
even if it was
And they'd been dating for a while.
a little while.
Yeah. But she was getting ready to leave him. Scary drunk, she said. So happy Valentine's Day, boys and girls.
What'd you think of the cocktail, Karen?
It's good. I like the pomegranate juice in it. And I like gin, so I wish somehow I could keep it colder longer because I like it cold. But it's good. You would probably prefer it with vodka, I would guess.
Probably. Anything we learned today, Karen?
We learned about cadavers and why they're called cadavers, which organs fail first after death, what the most expensive watch in the world is, a little bit about Cupid, how Henry VIII made Valentine's Day a non-Christian holiday, where it came from before it was Christian, how old the average cadaver is, a nice George Thorogood reference.
Yeah, I think that's it. All right, are we ready to move on to next week's film?
Yeah, what do you got?
The film I have chosen is called I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, Jennifer Love Hewitt's birthday coming up.
It is, Karen. February 21st, Jennifer
There you
Love Hewitt's
go.
birthday.
Greg does like
So
Jennifer.
1 year ago, we did I Know What You Did Last Summer. This year, we're doing I Still Know What You Did Last Summer
Have you seen it?
from 1998. No.
Yeah, I haven't
It
either.
seems like a long time ago, Karen.
I don't want to think about it.
And I do have a cocktail.
Excellent. What do you got?
It's called the Captain Karaoke Cocktail.
Okay.
So, of course, we're going to need, Captain Morgan rum,
Right.
fresh ginger,
Wait, white or spiced? Just it doesn't
just
say
white,
spiced.
just
Yeah.
white, yeah. Fresh ginger, cranberry juice, and pineapple juice.
Sounds good.
Very tropical.
Yes.
And again, it's in milliliters. 25 milliliters Captain Morgan's rum, 75 milliliters cranberry juice, 75 milliliter pineapple juice. So you got your mixers in there, Karen.
Yay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to pour our Captain Morgan's rum in a tall glass, top with ice, add pineapple and cranberry juice. We're going to mix together and then add ginger to garnish and serve chilled.
So like a piece of shaved ginger? What?
2 slices of fresh ginger.
Okay.
Slices.
Nice.
Yes. So that'll be next week.
It sounds like a lanai drink.
It does. Hence why I chose it.
It's been a while. We haven't had one of those in a while.
All right, Karen. Anyone you need to thank this week?
Besides the people of Pennsylvania.
I've already thanked them, but yes.
I'd like to thank our listener. You know, Greg, there are a lot of podcasts out there. We really appreciate when you spend time with us. What about you, Greg? Who do you need to thank?
Karen, I'm going to thank the band Verse 13 for providing all of the music in the Scary Spirits podcast.
Music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen?
Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And may your cards not be deadly. Oh, and please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Hey, it's Karen, and I'm here to talk to you about getting social with us. Did you know you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast? Or check out our website, scaryspirits.com. If you have something to say, email us at info@scaryspirits.com. And as always, thanks so much for listening. Please drink responsibly.